Hey Karen, good morning. Sorry about yesterday. I ended up going out with my neighbors to do some errands, and then they wanted to take me to eat and whatnot, and it just got longer than it was intended. And so I'm doing this first thing in the morning, but you're getting my brain first. I'm not even doing the daily yet. You are my first priority of the day. So thank you for being patient. I'm sorry about that. You asked for the Darlene deck and clarifiers with Rider Waite, right? But what I realized last night when I was thinking about it, and I didn't forgot to message you, is that the Darlene deck is actually the I have the Tarot of Mystical Moments, which is associated with the same artist, which is the Tarot deck, and then the Oracle deck is the one that actually has the card with Darlene in it. So this is I think you meant this deck, right? But this is the one with Darlene in it. So I brought her along just in case because I might get inspired to throw a couple of Oracle cards just to see because you did specifically cite the Darlene deck. So, but we're gonna work with her sister deck, the actual tarot deck made by the same artist with the same name. Does that make sense? You just may not see Darlene show up. And then I still have the Rider Waite here for clarifications. So I'm going to work with this, clarify with that, and I may throw a couple of Oracle cards in there where I feel inspired to, just so that we still get that Darlene energy. if, if that's what we're looking for. I hope that makes sense. I'm ready to get started. You've got me fresh this morning. Well, I'm on my second cup of coffee, but for me that's fresh. So let's get going. We're gonna go with a general reading, you said. So let's just shuffle the cards and connect in. Okay, instantly as I'm shuffling the cards, I feel a calmness come over me, which I really like. I feel like there's an energy about not necessarily rushing, although that's not my energy. I tend to want to rush in the morning, so I know that this probably belongs to you. It feels more about like okay, hold on, wait, let's just see. Like, it's just the way that I feel the cards are coming together. They feel like they're coming together smoothly, carefully. I wouldn't be surprised if you found yourself paying attention to like more of the details of things. You know, they don't feel threatened to me in any way, if that makes any sense. They don't feel like in a rush out of fear, worry, or need. They feel more like, okay, wait, let's take this one step at a time. That's sort of the feeling I'm getting. I hope that makes sense. You'll have to let me know. But I like them. They feel like kind of cool, calm, collected, productive would be a good word. Ready for whatever life has in store for them, right? It's almost like, I'll say this, I feel like if life is trying to throw you challenges right now, and those challenges may be knocking at, the proverbial door, to me it's like, Karen's behind that door going, is now the right time to open the door? Like, in other words, even if life is challenging you right now, you're not necessarily rising to the drama of the challenge. You're like, nope, we're going to do this in my time. We're going to move to my drum or to my beat, and I'm going to just take this one step at a time. So I like that. It's like we're taking control, is the feeling that I get with these cards. So let's see here. Okay. We have the Seven of Wands in the center. Seven of Wands can indicate a fight at times. What's interesting here, and I'll go kind of with traditional meanings, but also with the meanings that are in the cards. But the Seven of Wands is usually, it's a gentleman standing on a hillside, kind of batting back the six other wands. So it can be about public opinion or the opinions of others kind of infringing upon us. But to me, when I look at him, I feel like there's a freedom about to come, right? Where he's busting out of these bars, if you can see that. And to me, that freedom might be the truth that you stand for, right? The truth that is within you, the truth that you know to be true. Or that does not make a lot of sense. The truth that you know to be true. Hold on, the dogs are being. Will you guys stop? Nobody's here, guys. I think there's a cat fight. Sorry, Karen, I'll be right back. One moment. Is the cat out there fighting? Hold on, I'll get it. It's already starting. Good morning. It's already starting, guys. Thank you for alerting me, guys. Thank you. I didn't hear that. Okay, sorry, Karen. This tomcat comes by in the morning and likes to mess with my cats when they're outside in the backyard. Okay, so what I like about this though is it feels like, even though taking that traditional meaning of one maybe feeling like they have to defend their stance, their position, their belief, I feel like there's a strength in these bars, right? Which might sort of metaphorically be your stance or what you've believed to be true, or your situation, what you believe to be true about your situation. But this being your center feels like there's a freedom that's about to take place, and a freedom at your own hands, right? Because I like how he's pulling the bars open as if he's going to remove himself from whatever the situation is, right? Or free himself from the situation. There's something too, I have to say, there's some sort of significance about the tattoos all over his body, where I feel like whatever you've been dealing with, or whatever the situation is that you've been maybe strong up against, or fighting against, sort of in a way, or standing in, sort of defending your truth, your your position in a way. It's tattooed on your body. Like this is sort of like this has had some level of a permanent effect in a way. But I don't necessarily know that that's a bad thing, if that makes sense. I actually like these tattoos around him. They're almost like sort of, I don't know, I want to attribute them to, similar to like battle scars, but to me, tattoos are something that we place upon ourselves. Not that you ever wanted this, but it's sort of like maybe scars or experiences that, although they've maybe been hard at the time when we've received them, in some ways they can become things of beauty. They can be like signifiers of who we are. Does that make sense? All of that. So I do like that this is here in your center. It feels like there's fight in you. There is strength in you. I love that it's such a masculine card in the center. So to me, it feels like, there's a willingness to take action, to get things done, to do what we need to do. Sevens too, I also want to add to that, is like, for me with tarot, sevens indicate that conscious choice that needs to be made. So you're in this place of being very present minded, right? Where we're in this place of standing strong, holding our space, holding our position, not allowing maybe others to take what is ours or how we see things, right? And we're strong in that. That's almost the strength of the bars, the conviction of the bars, right, in a way. But she's also removing herself, or working towards removing herself, or he is removing himself from there, right, through his own strength, through his own willpower, through his own belief, through his own focus. So I like that. Now let's go to the foundation and see what's going on in the foundation. We've got, the Empress. We just saw her in the daily the other day. This is the most gorgeous Empress card. My God. All right, Empress is associated with that the planet of Venus. Also, Venus is associated with the sign of Taurus, right? It's the ruling planet of Taurus. But Venus is about beauty and love. She's also about creativity, fertility. She's going to be about mothering. She's going to be about sort of being connected to our world, feeling in control, feeling sort of quite possibly all's right in the world, and anything that's not right, she's going to fix. Not even fix, but go about creating a way to make it right, right? She doesn't, to me, the Empress doesn't necessarily look to the mistakes or the problems or whatever. She goes about the route of positivity, creation, beauty, love, that sort of thing. That's just sort of her vibe, right? When I look at this, I feel like this is your past. I mean, the position is your past, obviously, but I feel like this is a time that you might, where everything, all was right in the world. And it's not to say that not things aren't right now. I actually feel like with the tattoos and the strength of this Seven of Wands, I get this determinedness to this Seven of Wands that it says to me, you know, it's built on the backs of, on the back of her, of who this, I don't want to say was for you, because you still are her, right? She still resides within you. The strength and the creativity, the intelligence, the connection, the compassion, all of those things are still within you. You just may not be, I don't want to say you're not able to access them, because I feel like she's here working in the background, but it may not feel as fully available to you as it always has in the past. But I love that she is driving this reading, right? She's the foundation. When she's down here, it says to me, you've got major arcana first and foremost underneath this, where you're at right now. And she's about moving you to that much more rich, beautiful, love-oriented, creative space that feels connected and you know, I don't know, alive again in a way, right? So I think that where you're going, any sort of struggles that you're fighting against right now, they are being sort of pushed on or guided by this internal sense of who you were, or who you know, does that make sense? Like who you knew yourself to be. And in an effort to get back there, you are having to sort of maybe rearrange your situation or fight. Not there's not a fight in here. There's like a it's similar to what I was feeling in the cards, where I was like, you know, I said something about like if life brings drama to your doorstep, it's like, do I want to open the door today? It's like that's what he's doing. He's like, do I want to? Is this my fight? Do I, you know, like I feel like with this seven here, we know who we are. That's sort of the permanence of the tattoos on the skin. I hope I'm making sense. I hope this is making sense. The next card is your Ace of Swords. This is beautiful too. I love this card. So the Ace of Swords is, this is your spirit space. I'm sorry, the glare on that is really bad. You can't really see the design. Let me see if I can adjust this a little bit. The Ace of Swords is there a way to do that? Hello? 1 second. Does that work? That takes it slightly off. All right. The Ace of Swords, this is your spirit space. I love this card. This is about intelligence. I love that he's holding this key. Aces are always about new revelations, the focus on the self. Swords is about intelligence, truth, honesty coming out. This is honesty coming through at the spirit level from our own higher self, our own intuitions, our own awareness. And some of what I want to say here is, with the Empress down here in the foundation, it really feels like there's I don't know, like a renewed fight in you, or a renewed resolve in you. If you're not aware of it, there certainly could be, but when I look at these three cards together, they very much feel like they're working together for you, to inform you, to push you, to create the strength that we see going on in here. Sometimes this can indicate conflict. I don't get any conflict from this. I get this sort of like standing firm in one's ground, knowing what one knows, even having the truth like emblazoned upon our body, and using that truth to sort of like free ourselves from whatever has been mucking about around us. The Ace of Swords is going to cut to that truth, that sort of spiritual truth, that answer within that we know is what we need, or is the key, the very key that might free ourselves. Right? Like, I love how he has the key and this one's in jail, right? So maybe this is the key to letting this one out. But I feel like this one, whether it has the key or not, is going to get free. It's only a matter of time. Does that make sense? So I would pay attention to one's new thoughts. And what I mean by that, because this Ace of Swords up here, I get this funny feeling like, listen to your sort of like, I don't know if it's fleeting, but ace stuff can come on swiftly, unexpectedly. And what I mean by that, in this card sitting in your spirit space, like little spots of intuition, little spots of, of what might appear to be a fleeting thought, boom, like pay attention to it, because it could be the very thing that is the key to the next steps or to the next movement towards what it is that you need. And I feel like these cards, I don't know why, but I feel like these cards really want you to move, or they're really ready to do the work as a collective. They're ready to sort of push you forward. And from a place of love, from a place of intelligence, from a place of also, again, truth, right? And knowing who we are, what we're about, what we deserve, that sort of a thing. So let's go to the outside influences and see what we've got going on. So we have the Five of Pentacles. This is such a sad card. The Five of Pentacles is about being left out in the cold, right? And it's interesting how her hair looks like roots to me. And the cage is very interesting too, because we see this cage reference in the prison in the center of your spread too. And I get a distinct feeling, I almost feel like this is your significant other, or not, I don't want to call them your significant other, but your ex is my feeling. I feel like this is them unwilling to let go. I feel like this hair that's branching out and trying to take root is trying to hold you in their misery, right? The snow scene here is that it's cold, it's lonely, they're unhappy, and they might be trying to keep you caged in some way or keep you engaged in some way. But what I feel here is like, no, that's not going to happen today. Not, and like, there's a phrase, there's this drag queen, Bianca Del Rio, she says, "Not today, Satan." And that's what I feel like these three cards are saying, because it's interesting too to me that her face is sort of facing towards your center, right? Like, she wants to somewhat keep you engaged, drag you down. And the five, which would be transitory, I want to say here that this won't stay forever, right? There's a sadness to this. There is a loneliness to this. There's a loss to this that is going on here. There's a selfishness too. I don't like this hair. I will tell you that. This hair is really bothering me as I'm looking at the reading. It feels like, be mindful of energy stuff. I know that you already are in that way, but I sort of feel like this creeps in the background, right? Like, and it even though it's hair, it looks like roots. So what appears to be something simple, I wouldn't say non-threatening, but what might be a simple exchange or an argument or a fight could be connecting you or locking onto you in a way that where it becomes like roots. Like, we don't want that. We already have these tattoos, right? We already have these sort of, I don't want to call them scars, because I really believe that the tattoo is a thing of beauty. I think that somehow it's like taking the hardship of whatever this experience is and making it, yes, it's emblazoned upon you. Yes, it will forever change you, but it doesn't have to be a detriment to you, or you certainly haven't let it be completely. And I think that may bother them on some level. That they still want to affect you in some way. They still have some sort of a charge to you. They still want to have some sort of they want to get in there and like root up and connect. So be aware of that. Let's look at the other outside influence. We have the Emperor. This is the masculine Emperor. Now, I like his roots. He doesn't bother me in that way, only because I feel like, his roots are coming from his mustache, if you can see that. But I love that he has an eye to the future. he's looking away from you, right? He's looking towards what I would consider the future. As I look at cards, I always look at this direction being, okay, are we focused towards the future? Like I said, this feels very much in the present. He's staring straight at us. So we're looking at the now and how we take what we have with the intelligence of our spirit and our mind working together in new ways or through new thought, paying attention to the new inspiration, and then the sort of creativity and the nurturing that is like sort of intrinsic within you, and the strength of like Taurian energy or that earthiness that the Empress represents to move ourselves forward. The Emperor is going to relate to this Empress energy that exists within you, right? It's almost like he's answering her call. Now, what I want to say about the Emperor, this could be somebody outside of yourself, right? Somebody, it could be a person. Generally, as a rule, major arcana represents life events, right? And so I get a feeling that this could be an event in a way that is responding to who you really truly are, maybe at your depths or have been in your life throughout your life. And this is kind of like the karmic, not retribution, but answer to that in a good way. The Emperor is always like this hard-won lesson in a way. He's ruled by Aries energy. So he's about taking action. He's about determination. He's about split-second decision making, but he's also about like you have to meet his requirements, right? You have to like sort of rise to the occasion with the Emperor. He's like the benevolent, loving father, but you can't cut corners with him. You can't cheat him. You can't like take the easy road. And you certainly haven't in this. You've done things right. And I feel like that's part of why he sees the Empress in you. Does that make sense? He sees the work that you've done. So I feel like this is a positive outside influence in the sense that it feels like the opportunities are there for you to rise to the occasion, and you will rise. She has a natural inclination to pair with him, right? She has a natural inclination. They are a couple in a way, right? So what is within you and how you've been in the past and who you know yourself to be, although you might be somewhat different through the experiences you've been in, can still answer and respond to the challenges or the opportunities that may present themselves with like rules, regulations, or requirements of you that will serve you, will reward you in a way, right? I also, the interesting thing too is he has this castle on his head, and it's funny to me, and the mustache with the roots coming out. Oh, okay. I'm just now hearing as I'm looking at this on the computer screen, as I'm watching my hand go back and forth, these roots are like, where's our focus, Karen? Like, are we focusing on the past, the sadness and the cold? Are we rooting to that? Or are we rooting to the newness, the opportunity, and what's presented to us, the challenges that are to come, right? Both kind of have a sort of a potential to root us, right? Or become our focus. We have to decide which one we want, right? Or which one we're going to engage. I love how one is blue, one is bright and yellow. They're like two kind of opposites. One is feminine, one is masculine. There's like two different, in a funny way, they're sort of in balance with one another. So that gives me this idea of like that even though things may not always feel right with certainly this situation, right? All's right in this universe in the sense that the universe is presenting you with the polarities of what it is. You can go this route, you can go this route. We're going to have this, we're going to throw this at you and this at you, right? But anyways, what I was going to say is about the home on his head. He has a castle on his head, and I don't know why, but that's triggering this idea of what's going on with your home for me. We'll look at that in the clarifiers, but if there's something going on around you where you're challenged about your home, that challenge might be there might be a reward hidden in there that, like it may require you to rise to the occasion of what the Emperor needs from you, which you certainly can, but it may have to do with your home. I don't know why, because this is attracting my attention, this castle on his head. All right, so that's that for now. I'm going to shuffle let me shuffle now for an outcome card. I'm not going to throw the outcome card yet. I want to clarify, but I do want to shuffle. So the outcome for this reading This deck is so beautiful. I also want to say this too, that Ace of Swords to me feels like there's an old wisdom um, within your spirit that is coming to light or being shown to you. And this is part of who you are. This is part of like what you know to be true. And that's sort of the strength that we see in that Seven of Wands. It's helping you to move those bars. It's helping you to understand that what were once scars are actually beautiful tattoos in a way now. And they kind of are who you are in a way. All right, so let's go to clarifiers really quick. So for the Seven of Wands, on the Seven of Wands, we have the Four of Swords, which is like about going inward, quiet thought, meditation, taking away the opinions of others, where the Seven of Wands would be, or the Seven of Wands would be more about like fighting off the opinions of others. This is about consciously choosing not to take them on, right? This is about going within one's own mind and quieting of the mind, taking that space. So I think that's also what's maybe potentially empowering you to stay strong, to understand what's going on with you first and foremost, and that's what's giving you the strength to find the freedom that you're finding right now. We have the Knight of Cups, very much a romantic card, but also very much emotionally centric or centered, very much moving towards the future, right? As we see the Knight moving this way. I would say being in service or to oneself rather than maybe to another, or moving, you know, sometimes this can be about moving towards love, but I kind of get the feeling with these three working in the center, this is about taking care of oneself over anything and everything else. Also because we have this Four of Swords here, which is such a like a self-care card. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles, which is new worlds. And what I mean by new worlds is like Pentacles being material energy, or the material realm, aces being new, and I'm not bothered by this because we see this Ace of Swords up here. There could be something that through our thoughts, through our mind, we could be creating a whole new world, right? A whole new experience. And what I mean by world, I'm talking about like, you know, maybe where we live, maybe who we interact with, how we make our money. There's something new on the horizon for you, Karen. I just kind of feel it because we have the Ace of Swords up here in the spirit space. This is what's kind of manifesting or kind of working in the ethereal or ephemeral parts of ourselves. We've got her down here wanting to create at a material level, and then we've got you trying to fight, or not fight is the wrong word, but you're trying to adjust your situation to free yourself from it and move in love and compassion towards this new day, this new dawn, this new environment in a way, or this new experience in a way. So I really actually like how that feels. So let's go to the Empress. Like to me, it feels like something's about to turn a corner here. If you don't know, okay, I don't make this shit up. The Empress. So double down, Empress energy. This is who you are. This is who you've been. This is what you know. This is about being connected to the earth, to love, to beauty, to the appreciation of that, to the nurturing of that. It is like very much who you are, okay? It was funny too, because when that cut happened, it was such a big chunk of the deck, and it like plunked down, and I thought, ooh, the Empress wants, you know, like, and then boom, it was the Empress card. I was like, okay. We have the Five of Wands. This is a bit of a fight. This is a bit of a struggle. This is a bit of a challenge, right? But it's transitory. It can be about people's opinions. To be honest, this energy feels a bit underneath both of these Empresses. Oh, sorry, it's going out of focus. feels a bit beneath these two Empress cards, but it is something from the past or something that came up in the past that might have challenged the not the position, but the well-being that you felt during this time. And then we have the Three of Swords, which would be about past heartbreak. These two cards to me feel like her the breakup, to be honest. And that when this breakup happened, or the realization of the fighting and then the heartache that came with it, it's like we lost this solid footing that we felt. I don't even know that, like, I'm not even sure you knew that you had it, but you did, right? And I want to say this. I can tell in this reading you still have it. This is still in the background, like informing your decisions. But has it been affected by what went on back here in the past? Yes, indeed it has. This is a sad, painful card, but you've worked your way beyond that. You're in a place where you're different now, right? You're in a place where you've learned through maybe hardship or upset, and you haven't. I will say this, with the Knight of Swords, or sorry, the Knight of Cups in the center there, you haven't let it kill your heart, right? You haven't let it take everything from you. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And that's what's sort of enabling you to move to these new beginnings that I feel like are happening in these aces. So, on this Ace of Swords, we have the Seven of Cups. That's a little bit of mental, like emotional confusion, right? But I'm not bothered by that being there, only because I almost feel like this might be what has been going on, or what you've maybe been dealing with, and I feel like the Ace of Swords is here to answer in response to that, and to like sort of cut through the bullshit and give you the key or the answer. But you have to listen, like, because it's in the spirit space. To me, it feels like it really feels like this thing where pay attention to those fleeting thoughts that like make you giggle or that inspire you ever so briefly, and you're like, oh, that's not possible. It very well may be possible. We have the King of Swords. So again, we're talking about analytical, discerning, black and white thinking, authority. Matches very well with the Ace of Swords. It's about letting intelligence lead over maybe emotions, because the emotions might get confusing or get messy. That would be that Seven of Cups too. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles. So Knight of Pentacles can be very slow moving. He can be very plodding. But what I like about him being up there is he's going to not move if he doesn't want to. He's going to not make a mistake. He's going to be careful about what he chooses to do. He's going to remain grounded with the intelligence of the King of Swords and sort of the clarity of the Ace of Swords, right? It is the ability to move forward successfully through measured steps, if that makes sense, right? So we're not going to make any mistakes here, is sort of the feeling that I'm getting with this run of cards. Even though that Seven of Cups indicates a bit of emotional confusion, maybe that emotional confusion is in the past, or sometimes it wants to sneak in there and kind of unearth you or upend you a little bit. I don't think it's going to be very successful with that King of Swords and that Knight of Pentacles. Okay, they're still sort of leading you along the way. So let's look at this Five of Pentacles. Ooh, why do I feel, all of a sudden I feel like I don't, like when I just cut that deck, I got this weird feeling like it's like, no, like don't show the clarifiers to this card. Like I almost feel like this card just called out and was like, no, I don't want to be seen. Okay, the Ace of Cups, interesting. The Ten of Swords, Ten of Wands. And the King of Pentacles. when I look at this and that feeling in my gut where I was like, no, 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 I don't want to be seen. These are not necessarily bad cards underneath this Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is a setback, or it is a loss, very much so. And I feel as though this person or this relationship or the loss of this relationship, something was truly lost for both of you. Even if they were wrong or they did the wrong thing, I think that they still understand and feel that, because that's sort of the gravity of the positivity of these cards underneath the loss of this five. I feel like the Ace of Cups, the King, like I don't know if this is the right thing to tell you, but it feels to me like with this Ace of Cups, King of Pentacles combination in here, they still really love you, or you still really love them. There's something there that is tangible and very much emotionally real. And at one point in time, you both understood that. The Ten of Wands is about letting go of a burden or letting go of this relationship, and I think that that's where this is at. But I think that the sadness around this is that either you're still, you may very well still have love for them, and I think that that might be the case because we see this double Empress energy down here, that we see the Knight of Cups here. There's, even the Seven of Cups, which is emotional confusion, but emotionally, you love them, or on some level. I don't know. Their behavior may have been piss poor and they did the wrong things and they're trapped in their own drama or narcissism or whatever it is that represents in this cage for them. But it also says, and this might be what they don't want you to see, but although they betrayed you, they still, on some level, care. Maybe even still want something with you. Like the King of Pentacles, he's not the most romantic of cards, but he's very much earthbound, materialistic, wants to, provide, and that's just interesting because that's not what I expected to come out from underneath this, if that makes any sense. So, but the Ten of Wands to me is about that idea of carrying the burden, and this could be her, your ex, carrying the burden of what they've done and the loss that they've created for themselves, and they may lash out at you or branch out at you, no pun intended, to try and engage you, and the only way that they know how to do that is through maybe fighting with you or gaslighting you or doing whatever it is that they want to do, and they're losing you. They know that. That's sort of like, if we look at these knights are moving away. Everything's moving away. Even the ace hand here is moving away from this. This person here, this King of Pentacles potentially, or whoever they see themselves as, has lost this Empress, right? They've gone and screwed up. And I think at some level, whether their tactics are good, however they're going about it, they're trying to still hold on to you. That might be the very bars that you're freeing yourself from. It's just interesting. That Ace of Cups, King of Pentacles, even the Ten of Wands, those are strong cards. Like the Ten of Wands is about like letting go of a burden or releasing a burden. But I don't feel like this is about releasing a burden. It's about releasing maybe, or letting go, having to let go of a spiritual connection that this person had with you, that they, on some level, whether they'll admit it to you or not, and I think they won't actually, because that's why when I was shuffling for these cards, I got this distinct feeling in my gut, no, don't clarify. It's almost like they don't want to be seen. Like when I look at these three cards, it feels like to me they know what they lost at this point. All right, let's go to the Emperor. We have the Three of Wands, which is all about looking towards what we want next spiritually, what we desire, what can come to us. The world or the future is open to us. We have the Strength card, which is Leo energy, also major arcana on top of the fiery energy of Aries. Again, we're talking about getting things done. There's a balance in Leo in the Strength card. There's also fire energy in wands. So this is a lot of fire. This is a lot of activity. And this is the world. This is about the ending. Okay, so shit. This is like the world is new beginnings and endings of chapters, really assimilating the information, being done, and moving forward. This to me feels like, as an outside influence, this is something that's, if it's not already here, Karen, it's coming. And when it comes, you're going to understand all of it. It will be celebrated on some level. You will have an understanding of why you went through everything that you went through. The information will sort of assimilate that. You'll gain the gift of what the Emperor holds for you. You'll be able to look at things through maybe a different lens. You're stronger for it. You're able to sort of take action, move in the direction you want to go, and go in that way wholeheartedly, fully, rewarded, celebrated, understanding that like the cycle will be complete. Much to maybe this person's dismay. So, all right, so before I go to the outcome card with all of this, I am going to shuffle, and I just want to lay an oracle card over each of these combinations. So for the Seven of Wands to the Ace of Pentacles. And I feel like what I'm inspired to say is that I feel like these oracle cards are kind of, because oracle cards usually just have a phrase on them, this might be the sort of the theme for each section. Let's just say that, okay? That's kind of where I think this is going intuitively, but we'll see. So for this is Miss Sunshine. And again, she has a light about her. Underneath her is this sort of home and this castle. It's a sort of the darkness of who she is and the lightness of who she is, right? The balance of who she is. And again, we have this very similar imagery where she's holding what I would appear to be, those strings would be like balloons lifting her up from the weight of the past that's underneath her. But part of that past holds this moon, right? Which to me is just as important as the sun. It's the part of the experiences that like are sad or bring us pain or that educate us in ways that like might be challenging, but they are part of who we are. We don't give up on that. We don't let go of that. We sort of balance that, right? Again, card 17, number 8, which would be about balance. But I love that she is also indicative of like how he's similar to opening the bars. She's opening the ropes even more so, shining through them and floating up out of them, because I see in my mind's eye balloons on the end of these. I think they're strings because she's sort of floating in the sky. So I like her there. We'll keep her there. Like she's the further progression of these cards, in my opinion, right? The bars are no longer as closely together. The femininity has come in, or a softness has come in. There's still an embracing of the totality of who you are and everything that you've been through. But you understand it more, and you carry it with you in a way that's lighter or more easeful. Right? So let's go to this Empress combination. Empress to the Three of Swords. And it's also just a reminder to continue to shine bright. We have, it's our girl Darlene. You asked for her, Karen. And I knew that once it dawned on me, I was like, I knew what you meant by the Darlene deck, but I was like, oh shit, Darlene's not in that tarot deck. And I like to do the meat of my readings with a tarot reading. So I'm glad Darlene showed up this morning. And she shows up on Double Empress. So Darlene, card number 48, which would be a 12, which would be a 3, which is the mind, body, spirit. And again, butterfly garden to me. Butterflies are symbols of transformation to me. Darlene here is always about, like, I feel like she's sort of seeing the beauty in things, sort of dreaming about where she can be. This giant butterfly wants to sort of transform her or show her the beauty that she is. I think that she fits nicely with this double Empress energy, in the sense that hopefully we can, like, we will go back to this Empress energy, I feel like, Karen, for you, but I feel like you're somewhat different. That's the tattoos that we see in the Seven of Wands underneath there, right? But you have transformed in some ways, but you can still see the beauty. You can still connect to the nature of it, right? The aspect of butterfly being insect and garden being floral, right? That's very much in line with sort of Empress energy because she represents that connection to nature. And so we can get back there again. We can dream again. We can have a sass about us like Darlene would, right? And that can be the basis for who we are, right? To hope, to dream, to wish again, right? So let's see here. And we're looking at the Ace of Swords to the Knight of Pentacles. We have pure nature. Card number 7. I love that. Absolutely beautiful. When I think of pure nature and I think about this positioning, right? Nature to me would be the aspect of, say, the Knight of Pentacles. The purity would be about the clarity of the Ace of Swords, the Spirit, and the King of Swords, right? And when I think about pure nature, it's about making the conscious choice to sort of be connected into our environment. I love that she has this sort of flower or this rose sort of as her dress, like she's almost clothed herself. When she felt vulnerable, she's almost adapted herself into her environment and made her environment work for her. Does that make sense? And we see that also sort of in that Empress energy down here. But with the intelligence of all of the swords energy happening in the spirit space and the strength and the groundedness of the Knight of Pentacles, we can put this to work for us through a conscious sort of awareness or decision that we need to sort of connect to the things that are going on around us and allow them to adorn us and create beauty in our life. Okay? Now, let's go to our friend over in the Five of Pentacles. In the Five of Pentacles, we have, oh wow, interesting. I love this card. It's another 5, card number 32. It's called Touch the Sky. But again, we have a hair reference here. That's the first thing I think of is this hair reference. And this is going to sound really weird to you, but I don't even know what to say about this. I'm just going to spit it out. I feel like this lifetime for the two of you is over. And I feel like this card to me is a message to her from her spirit to you that is saying, we can do it in another lifetime. Like whatever we had planned for this lifetime, oh my God, I feel really emotional all of a sudden, like I want to cry. The things that we had planned, okay, this is weird. I feel like I want to say to you, the things that we had planned for this lifetime, like they were real, they were valid at the time when you were back in this Empress energy and like this person maybe fucked them up or did them wrong. And this to me feels like we have the Five of Pentacles, we have the 5 here, which is that transition out of this relationship. And although this person feels as though they still care, there was something very real there for them, for you, even though they didn't do what was right. I feel like this to me feels more rooting. This hair here to me feels like, be careful how they try and get their way in and how they try to root to you, maybe through arguments, fights, distress to you, that sort of a thing. It's because they care about you, but they're mixed up and messed up in their thing. And when I look at this in the end, or what this turns out to be, is I feel like this is this girl in spirit, because the bird is on her shoulder, she's up above the clouds. This is her on the other side, right? In spirit with the long braid saying, I still love you, I'm attached to you, we may be soulmates in some way, and we can try this again in another lifetime where hopefully I can do it correct, right? Where I won't make the mistakes that I've made this time around. There is sort of like a weird hidden apology. There's a forlornness to her cheek being on her chin. There's a wish that it could be different, but and this is more of like a message from her spirit. Her ego may not be able to give you that at this time. Her ego is trapped in the cold of her own actions, of her inability to take responsibility for those actions. Her ego is potentially caught in the struggle of the emotional feeling. All of this stuff is sort of like whirling about for her. She may not understand this is what's underneath or up above through her spirit, but to me this feels like a calling card that says that ultimately in the end, if you, like, I know this sounds crazy, Karen, but it feels like maybe at some point when you're both away from this world and in different bodies, or not even in different bodies, I should say, in spirit, on the other side, when you can have a talk, she's there and willing to talk. And if I that's the best way I can describe it. I don't know. That's weird. Not weird bad. It actually feels really beautiful. But it's not anything excusable for what she's done in sort of this lifetime. Does that make sense? Okay, so going to the Emperor to the world. Let's see what that's about. But this feels like her higher self talking to you. There's a softer connection here. There's a reluctance here to want to let go, because the King of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups says to me, she understands somewhere deep inside of herself how important you were to her, and she fucked it up. And she hurt you in some way. Like it, you know. And she's unwilling to like own that, I think, at some level, because it may affect her and hurt her in a very deep way. And so she's more fearful of that than of facing that and doing the right thing. Okay, this is card number 1, Day and Night. I love how her body is, again, positioned to the future. She's holding the sun in her hands. The sun is represented by Leo, right? That Leo energy of strength. We also have a lot of fire over here. And so day and night to me is, I kind of get a feeling that going forward, if this is sort of the outcome of all, not the outcome, but like one of the paths that can be taken, where the completions and beginnings of the new cycles or new chapters, feeling that we understand why we went through what we went through, and we own it, we assimilate it, we use it to our advantage. I feel like what she represents is like whatever you've gone through that was hard, or maybe it was the night period for you, it will shift into day. It will shift into all that's on offer here, all of the fire energy, all of the major arcana. There's 3 major arcana card in this run here. These gifts that are out there for you, or that are to come to you, are going to feel like the exact opposite of maybe what you've been dealing with leading up to this point. So allow it to take place, honor it, right? Be excited by it. But the day and night also, to me, also indicates that sort of understanding of the polarities that exist just in life. We have good, we have bad, we have light, we have dark. Without one, you can't have the other. And so now it's maybe time for an upward swing, or a change, a shift. And her holding the sun in her hand, there's also, again, that sort of balance that we have, that we see that here in the lightness and the dark of Miss Sunshine. So now to the outcome card, right? Which I'm going to do all of that stuff too. This is where things are potentially heading, barring that nothing major changes. I shuffled for that, so I'm going to just flip the card. We have the 2 of Pentacles. Always about balance, maintaining that balance, staying grounded, right? A little bit precarious, but I don't feel that. Sometimes this card can make me feel like, oh shit, she could fall. I don't feel that. I feel like this is you balancing many things that need to be taken care of in a very productive, brave way, right? You're not fearful. You're in control here. That's what I feel like this woman is on this building. Sometimes she feels like, uh-oh, she could tip forward and fall off, and it feels dangerous to me. I don't get that at all. I feel like when I'm looking at it for you in this reading, it's like she's actually using the building to her advantage. She's grounding into that. So let's go to the clarifiers for this card. She's almost enjoying herself, is the feeling that I get. And Pentacles is that earth energy, right? That sort of material wealth, physical stuff. It can sometimes represent relationships around us, but I like that she's, you know, even in the midst of a challenge, she's enjoying herself. She's playing with the energies. She's being successful with what she does. So on this Two of Pentacles, we have the Hermit, Virgo energy, right? But also major arcana, intelligence, spiritual intelligence and awareness of oneself through going inward. We see some of that going inward happening in that Four of Swords there, but this is at a much deeper, more profound level. Virgo energy being also earth energy ties into that Two of Pentacles. So it's very much like deeply understanding who we are and what we know to be true for ourselves. This is the outcome for this. And again, shining our own light. That's very much symbolic of Virgo. Or Hermit, staying to ourselves, not engaging maybe with the drama that's here, but we see that light here in Miss Sunshine. So this is kind of where we're at and where we're continuing to grow towards, is this Hermit energy. We have the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords would indicate, you know, again, transition, but Five of Swords indicates like trying to prove our point, our thoughts, make people understand our side of things, and the loss that we take in the pursuit of that, right? Like it's the lonely at the top card, right? Is it worth the fight? Is it worth the exchange? Is it worth the sort of struggle that needs to take place to gain them to realize what we know to be true? And I don't think that's the case, and so just be aware of that. And then the last card is the Eight of Cups, which is walking away sort of in sadness, somebody being the bigger, greater adult and doing that. But I think you've done that. I feel like that card shows up a lot in your readings. But I feel like when I look at that Five of Swords, the Eight of Cups next to that Hermit and the Two of Pentacles, to me it says that there's no more like sort of argument in you. It's like it's just done. And that's okay. Like that's how, like moving forward, that's kind of where it needs to be. And it's not done for her. Like to me, when we look at her energy, she's got this sort of much more stronger want or need to be tied to you. And it may not work out that way this lifetime. So let's see what the Oracle card is for this Two of Pentacles, Eight of Cups. I will say this too. This outcome means that this may also not be the easiest transition out of this relationship. The Eight of Cups is not an easy card, neither is the Five of Swords. The Hermit gives me this idea of pulling back, maybe you retracting a lot in this, however this finishes out for you, only so that you can maintain the balance of the Two of Pentacles. I'm not worried for you in any way with this run, but I don't want to indicate to you that it's going to be just some like, you know, sunshiny day outcome, because that's not what this is about. This is about like withdrawing into oneself, trusting one's own knowledge, allowing yourself. There's even a withdrawal in the Eight of Cups too, and a withdrawal in the Five of Swords, really, when you think about it. So, but it's like, how much of that do you want to like feel, fight for, all of that sort of stuff? And I don't know that this is necessarily your fight or your feels going on. This could be hers, but it's like maybe her messiness that requires you to hermit away and be the smarter, wiser one and not engage. So we've got 36, which is a number 9. Nines to me are about coming to a personal completion with the situation. It's the House of Flowers, and I feel like this, I've never seen this card before, and it's weird because there's two women down here. But what I think is interesting is it takes me back to this Emperor card in the house. If there's something going on about the house, this could be the ending of it. I feel like this is a positive outcome. I don't know if I can't remember what you've told me about if there is a house in the mix or you may get the house is the feeling that I'm getting. Or you're going to release the house, but if you release the house or the house sells and you guys split the house or whatever, it will be amicable, like in the sense that I feel like it's the right thing to do, whatever happens with this home. It's really weird because all of this blossoms in the center of this house, but you very well may be the one to be awarded the house or keep the house if that's what you want through some, I don't want to say struggle because I don't feel like that eight of cups, five of swords is your struggle. I mean, there might be some fighting in there if you are fighting over the property, but you will maintain balance and just sort of pull back, be smart, be the hermit. And I think that this to me indicates that no matter what the outcome is, it's going to be an outcome that you will be okay with ultimately in the end. And I think that the outcome surrounds the home. That's my feeling. I hope that makes sense. That is your reading. You'll have to let me know what you think, and I look forward to hearing it. All right, take care. Bye bye.